You said the word health should never be associated with bodybuilding.
It's funny because the word bodybuilding, it used to be known as building your body. That was what the whole intention was. Even if you're a natural person, it's still extreme. You're exercising more than you should be doing. The dieting is extreme. When you're getting ready for a show, you're literally depleting as much water as possible so you can be as dry as possible. You can't function like that. Now you're affecting the functionality of your brain, which obviously affects your heart as well too. It is so extreme. It is contradictory to optimal health. It is. And that's why so many people are dying. A lot of these bodybuilders, men and women, they don't live past 55. Their heart can't take it. And for what? For a plastic trophy? I used to believe that, you can actually drop body fat doing fasted cardio, but all the studies I've shown, there's really not much of a difference. Sometimes when you're a hardcore person and you just train, you could be your own worst enemy. Kobe was probably the hardest worker maybe ever in NBA history. His work ethic was ridiculous, and he blew his Achilles. He was playing his best basketball of his career, but it was too much.
Obi, what's up, man? Welcome to the 𝙎𝙬𝙍𝙀 podcast.
What's going on, Ben? How are you? Thank you for having me on, my brother.
Thanks for making it happen. You're in California, I'm in Florida, and we're making it happen. We're going to have a fun conversation. You have quite the track record. Really impressed with what you've been doing. You've been on a lot of TV shows. You work with a lot of celebrities. You understand how the body works. You understand how you should not overtrain. Actually, there's a lot of cool things that we resonate with, which I can't wait to get into. But here's what I want to start with, Obi. You worked with a lot of celebrities, right?
Sure.
And you don't have to name names unless you're allowed to in this question. But the question is this: which celebrity has impressed you the most working with them, and why were you so impressed with them?
I would say probably the person that has impressed me the most was probably Steve Harvey, because of his work ethic. He's working 17-hour days, and his ability, when I was working with him, he was 60 years old, and his ability to have the energy to work out, for an hour or an hour and a half, knowing that he had a full day, or maybe he was just coming off 4 hours or 5 hours of sleep at 60 years old. And he hit it hard. There was nothing that I gave him that he couldn't do. And they were workouts that I don't think most 60-year-olds can do. So what it told me is that it's not a surprise that he is as successful as he is, because it takes a tremendous amount of work ethic and drive and determination and believe in yourself and not giving up. So I was able to see that when I was training him. I was just amazed at his endurance, his energy at 60. So it told me a lot about who he is and the qualities that he has, which has allowed him to be successful. You can't get to that type of level of success and just kind of just be lucky and fall into it. It takes, of course, being at the right place at the right time. It takes the opportunity, but it takes a tremendous amount of work ethic and being able to you don't really have much time, because the man I think at the time was juggling 3 or 4 different TV shows. He got a national radio show, and so I was amazed. I would say he probably stands at the top.
It's impressive. And do you believe, Obi, that Steve Harvey and individuals that, no matter what their age, how old they are, they exude this energy and vibrance because they're living on purpose with their purpose? And when you are so passionate about what you do, you just find the energy. Do you think that's a big part of it?
Yes, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, I think that purpose matters. And when you have a purpose, then that purpose will drive you beyond human comprehension. I don't know if you've had, but I've had jobs that I've hated, that just were horrible. I dreaded getting up in the morning to go to work. And I realized it was a job. It wasn't a career. I had no purpose. I had no drive. So when you have purpose and you have drive and you really enjoy what you do, and you know that you were put on this earth to do that, then you'll go beyond human comprehension to push yourself beyond what most people would be willing to do.
I think that's one of the most important advice tips that we can give. I think a lot of people don't understand the health benefits of living on purpose with your purpose. But when we share things like studies are showing that most people have their first heart attack in America Monday morning between 8 and 9 a.m. going to jobs they hate, like they could connect the dots that stress leads to disease, leads to a shorter lifespan. But I don't think they could see the opposite, that when you focus on the things you love to do, you have the energy to extend your lifespan.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I do believe that when when people retire, I do think it's important to find something that you want to do. Give yourself some purpose. If you're in your 60s, your 70s, because that purpose, I think that if you don't have a purpose, I think that you can die early. You know what I mean? I think that it's so important when, let's just say someone who works a 9-to-5 job and they retire, maybe 65 years old. I just feel like having a purpose, whether it's contributing to your community, local community, doing some form of charitable work, something that you enjoy doing, it gives you a motivation to get up in the morning. You know, it gives you a motivation to know you're contributing to society, particularly if it's something that actually is helping people. Hopefully
yes.
It does.
Then it's a win-win, right?
Yes.
For you, at what point throughout your journey did you realize this is my purpose, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, it's funny. I've always had a love for fitness, being an athlete, playing basketball and track in high school and college. I know that I didn't want to be a trainer at a gym. I was trying to figure out how can I get into this career and make a decent living, a good living, and be able to transform lives. How am I able to do that? So that was where when I entered the industry, before social media exploded and everything was about being in the magazines as far as the content that you would actually obtain, I was just trying to figure out how I can go in there. I know I didn't want to be a trainer at the gym, working 10, 12, 14 hours a day. I wanted to really be some form of an educator, an expert. I guess they use the word influencer now, but before social media, influencer was, someone who was an expert, an actual educator. So I think for me was really just trying to, I think when I came in the industry, magazines were everything. If you weren't in a magazine, you didn't exist. So being able to see yourself in a magazine or see your article in a magazine was a big, big thing. At that time, you had gatekeepers, editors that were making decisions on who comes in and who doesn't. So unfortunately, what that did was that it made it very difficult to actually have a presence in the industry if you weren't in a magazine. Now we can all create our own platforms. You get a podcast, a YouTube platform, whatever, and you don't have an editor telling you you're not good enough or you're not talented enough to create anyone can create content, and which is a great thing. But the bad thing is that there's no regulation in regards to that. So if you have someone that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, if they say enough stupid stuff, right? Eventually, people believe it. It's like you tell a lie enough times, loud enough, it becomes the truth. So for me, it was important for me to really be a form of truth in the industry. And not, of course, I'm an entrepreneur, but in my heart of hearts, I'm an educator. I love to write. I love to create content. And I don't care if it gets, 50,000 views or if it gets 20 views. As long as it reaches someone, it makes me feel good.
Respect. I love that. As an educator, I also am an educator too. It's one of my favorite things to do is to teach. And selfishly, I'm sure you could relate to this, Obi. When you start to learn information and learn different concepts and you want to teach it and you start teaching it, by the fact that you're teaching it, you now learn it better. Like, as soon as you learn it and teach it, then you absorb it better. Do you find that to be true as well?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. For sure.
So it's a win-win-win.
Because we all need refreshers. I forget every day, on things that I remember reading 10, 15 years ago. So when I'm writing, I have to do research. So it really helps. It's almost like this continuing education that I'm doing while I'm creating content and research. And And so I get refreshers continuously. And it's important because I wish I had that photographic brain that can just remember something and it just stays there. Sometimes like, let me go back and look at this one more time and make sure I this is what it is, you know? So yeah.
Love it. I could resonate with that. You have worked with so many different walks of life, male, female, tall, small, big, skinny. When you start meeting with these individuals on a one-on-one level, what kind of assessment do you do with them to determine how their workout regimen should be, what their program should be? What are some of the things you're asking, some of the things you're looking for?
Sure. Well, first of all, I ask for their height, their weight, their fitness goals, dietary preferences, foods they can eat, foods they can't eat, things they're allergic to. I want to find out what their past or present injuries, what past or present injuries they've had, any medical or health concerns I need to be aware of. So that information is critical for me to be able to create a tailored program for them. Because if you're not asking that information, there's no way that you can help that person appropriately, and you can actually injure somebody. You know, if someone has has an artificial knee or they had back surgery or hip surgery, and you're not aware of that, and you're giving them a program to do like crazy squats or deadlifts or whatever, or doing exercises that they probably can't do, you are extremely hazardous to their health. And so for me, I take pride that I really haven't had anybody really have an injury on my watch, you know, and that's
It's impressive.
Very important for me. So the more information that I can get from them, the better that I can serve them. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
so
a great coach would do.
If you're doing one-on-one coaching and you're working with someone, you have to do that. It's different if someone's buying a book from you. That's a completely different thing. But if you're actually doing one-on-one coaching and you don't ask those questions and you're not creating something formatted for their specific goals, what they want to accomplish, you are stealing money from that individual. You really are. And there's a lot of people doing that, unfortunately.
Yeah. So if you're working with the coach and they have not asked you any of those questions, that would be a red flag.
It's a red flag. It's a red flag. You know, it's a red flag. It's like, you know, yeah.
For let's say we have two different types of people listening to the podcast right now or watching on YouTube. We have a postmenopausal woman. Let's say she's 56 years old. During her transition from her menstrual cycle to perimenopause to postmenopause, she put on about 30 extra pounds of weight. She's very sedentary right now. She wants to get into a workout routine. She knows the importance of building muscle, especially to prevent things like osteopenia, osteoporosis. I know you just said we have to ask all these questions about health history and all that, but without taking that out of consideration, just in this example, what are some initial steps for this person to get started right now?
Well, to be honest with you, how long have they been sedentary? How long have they been?
Let's say 10 years in this example, maybe walking here and there, but no really strength training.
Okay. And how old are they?
That's 56 years old.
56. And that's all the information I have. But are they willing to give me more information?
Let's say she's on thyroid medication. She's had reoccurring low back issues. Other than that, no other injuries in the past, 30 pounds overweight. Her goals are to lose those 30 pounds in the next 6 months and to build muscle to prevent osteoporosis.
Does she have any injuries? Any major injuries?
Not currently, but in the past, reoccurring back injuries, let's say.
So basically what I would do is, number one, they're 56 years old. They've been sedentary for some time. So I would give them a program where it's a really low impact type of program. I would just keep it body weight workouts. And I would have their cardio at a slow walk. I really would try to get as much information as possible. I need to find out how long they've been taking thyroid medication, and what their hormonal levels are, because if their hormonal levels, even with the thyroid medication, is imbalanced, there's nothing that I can do. I can give them a program. It doesn't mean it won't do anything. If your hormones are imbalanced, There's a program will not help you if you're trying to lose body fat. People don't understand that. I've learned that the hard way. So I want to find out what their hormonal levels are, if they're balanced. If they are, then okay, I can help them. If they're not and they're completely off, then me giving them a diet program that puts them in a deficit, they're not gonna have any success. They're just not. So
hormones are so important, to your point.
Yeah, and so that's so important. You don't want to be someone. Okay, I want to close this client, but they're giving you information that doesn't allow you to do your job, and so now you're stealing money from them, right? So I'd get that information. If it is balanced, then I would obviously, depending on how much they weigh, then I would create the daily caloric program based on how much they weigh. So, for example, if they're 230 pounds or whatever, I would have their calories anywhere between maybe 1,700 calories, depending on the activity level that I put them on. I'd probably have them working out about 4 days a week, be all body weight workouts. Their cardio would not be more than a walk from an intensity perspective. So yeah, that's kind of it would really be at elementary level from an exercise perspective. It would be more focused on the diet and nutrition aspect. And the exercise would be extremely low impact because of the age and because that the lack of activity level that they've been on for 10 years,
I think it's solid advice, focusing on some low impact body weight exercises and then gaining some momentum. That was what I was kind of seeking from you, and you nailed it with that.
If you're following a low carbohydrate keto diet or carnivore diet, this is one of the most important tips. I see a lot of people who struggle with keto and carnivore, and the reason they struggle is because they are losing too many electrolytes. They're becoming mineral depleted. Every cell in your body needs minerals to function, to produce energy, which helps you burn fat and feel good. My favorite minerals and electrolytes are from Beam Minerals. These are fulvic and humic compounds that are bioavailable, that have over 70 minerals in them. It tastes like water. And all you do is simply drink from the bottle every single day to replenish your electrolytes. They also have sprays that you could put directly on a muscle cramp, a foot cramp, and it alleviates the cramping. And this is what I take with me to go, which is a mineral complex that I could travel with. And it's been shown that when you take the right minerals and electrolytes, you're going to support your immune system, lower inflammation, help detoxify the body. These are plant-based, but they're carnivore friendly. Let me explain why. There are no anti-nutrients in them. It does not break a fast. As a matter of fact, it could support your fasting window. And it's been a game changer for my health, and I recommend it to all my students. So if you want to get your hands on some Beam Minerals, head over to beamminerals.com. Use the coupon code AZADI at checkout, my last name, AZADI at checkout, to get a nice discount. beamminerals.com, coupon code is AZADI.
I know that there's different types of exercises out there. There's single joint movements, multi-joint movements. I love what you said. I was studying for this interview. You said that, where's my notes here? You said the word health should never be associated with bodybuilding. I love that, because a lot of people don't understand that bodybuilding and putting on a whole bunch of muscle in a short amount of time is not the same thing as health and longevity goals. So speak some more about this.
Yeah, no, bodybuilding, it's funny because, the word bodybuilding, it used to be known as building your body. That was what the whole intention was. And then once, with Joe Weider and the explosion of bodybuilding with pump and iron and bigger is better, it's gotten to a point where bodybuilding is a word that a lot of people, the average everyday person, doesn't want to have their name associated with it. It just sounds like, dog, but it's just archaic, and it's extreme. When you're bodybuilding, even if you're a natural person, it's still extreme. You're exercising more than your body should be more than you should be doing. You're dieting. The dieting is extreme. When you're getting ready for a show, you're literally depleting as much water as possible so you can be as dry as possible. You can't function like that. Now you're affecting the functionality of your brain, because of all of the water depletion that you're doing, right? Which obviously affects your heart as well too, especially if you're taking high-powered diuretics. So bodybuilding to me is so extreme. It is contradictory to optimal health. It is, and I competed for a couple of years and had some success with that. And I realized, how unhealthy it is. So, there's nothing wrong with being the best, achieving the best body you possibly can achieve. But I think that bodybuilding takes it to another level times 5. And that's why so many people are dying. It's why a lot of these bodybuilders, men and women, they don't live past 55. Their heart can't take it. I'm anti-drugs and steroids. I don't think you need it. Obviously, if you're competing as a bodybuilder, a pro bodybuilder, then obviously you have to be able to compete at that level. But what a lot of people don't understand, if you dabble in performance-enhancing drugs, when you're increasing muscle size at an exponential rate, what also is it doing? Your organs are increasing in size as well too. Your muscles and your organs, your heart, your liver, your kidneys. So now at the end of this bodybuilding career, you've got this incredibly enlarged heart, and you've done so much damage that you can't reverse it. And for what? For a plastic trophy? 98% of people have never heard of the Olympia. That's just the truth. So you have to really look at it from a perspective. Anyone that wants to compete in bodybuilding, they have to look at the risk versus reward, and just look at it. Is it worth it to take this many years from my life, and what is the reward? You know what I mean? Even if you become a multi-millionaire, which it's like 0.5% to be a Jay Cutler, a Ronnie Coleman, or a Phil Heath. Is it worth it that maybe you may not live past 50, 55, 56? To me, it's a very easy formula. Absolutely not.
I'm with you 100%. This is the dark side of the bodybuilding industry, right? That is why most bodybuilders, to your point, live on average 12 years less than the average person. That's why we saw the last few years during COVID, so many of these bodybuilders end up getting either really sick or dying from COVID. We saw it also in the CrossFit space, and I used to actually own a CrossFit gym here in Miami many years ago. And a lot of these individuals, they look great on the outside, and they're so inflamed on the inside. They're not recovering. So that's very important for those listening and watching to understand that having health and longevity goals are usually not synonymous with bodybuilding and putting out as much muscle as possible.
Right, exactly. As you get older, you don't really want to weigh too much. It's not really conducive for longevity. So, and most people, they can't. If you're trying to be as big as possible and gain as much muscle as possible, and you're of course using performance-enhancing drugs, you can't sustain that for too long. Yeah, I haven't seen someone in their 50s or 60s like jacked like that with low body fat. They typically don't live that. They don't get to 60. They're doing that. They don't. It's just not possible. You have to get off the stuff, And then when you get off of it, you're on TRT for life, because your natural testosterone production has stopped. And so now you got to get on TRT. A lot of these young people, they're not aware of that, that go that route. So,
yeah, it's true. So besides bodybuilding, besides performance-enhancing drugs, and even taking human growth hormone or TRT, what are some of your favorite exercises for men and women to get the biggest bang for their buck, where they're not having to spend an hour at the gym, they're focusing on your favorite lifts? Like, what are those lifts, movements, activities, exercises, whatever you want to call it, that are going to give us the biggest bang for our buck? We'll call it like smart training.
Sure. Well, I would say I think flat dumbbell chest press is a great exercise, great foundational movement for chest. I think bench press is overrated exercise. It's horrible on the shoulders, and I've seen so many injuries that have come from bench press. I think flat dumbbell chest press is great. I would also say wall sits is a great exercise, especially if you use some dumbbells assisted movements. Dumbbell deadlifts is a great exercise as well too. T-bar rows is a great exercise for back. That's a great exercise. I would say dumbbell squat calf raise, which with dumbbells. I'm really big on dumbbells because of the free range of motion movement, and I always say that dumbbells are some of the best devices to use to really build muscle and to really get deep into the muscle and really shape it. I don't know if I'm not saying you can't shape it with other exercises, but with dumbbells, I feel like it really allows you to truly shape the muscle at its best. Machines are great if you've got bad joints, but dumbbells are always going to be the best full range of motion, you know?
So with the dumbbell squat calf raise, how are you doing that? Are you holding the dumbbells, you're squatting, and
you're and in fact, I can even show you right now. You've got the dumbbells to your side, to your legs, and you're coming up. Boom.
Got it. Okay.
All right. That's a great movement. I do it. And it's a great movement for anybody. Anyone can do it, regardless of age. And
because they can sit to a chair and stand up, right?
Yeah, exactly right. It's a movement that we all do every day, right? And if you you don't have to use heavy weight, you know, especially if you do that for like 15 to 18 repetitions, really slow. You can feel it, and you can also get a aerobic aspect of it too because of the high repetitions. Your heart rate really jumps up. So that's a really great exercise that I like.
Love it. So wall sits with dumbbells.
Dumbbells. T-bar rows is a great exercise. Bent over rows is a great back exercise as well too. I actually think probably the best for someone that's really a girl or a guy that wants to increase the shape of their arms. I always say that if you really want to improve the shape of your arms, don't put your energy training your biceps, put your energy training your triceps. Why? Because your triceps is 2/3 of your arm, right? People don't think that. Bicep. No, if your tricep is 2/3 of your arm, why would you put so much emphasis on the biceps? So I think one of the best tricep exercises to do is bench dips, especially if you go really slow. It's a really great exercise to really shape that aspect of your arm.
Good tip. What about if you're doing close grip bench press with the dumbbells?
You know what? I think close. You said, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, close grip dumbbell bench press where you're activating those triceps. You're a little bit closer with the grip.
Yeah. No, that's also great too as well too. Definitely for sure. I think one exercise that I would try to avoid, and it's not for everyone, is the overhead tricep extension with the dumbbell. I think it's a big torque on your elbow. And
that makes sense.
I'm not a fan of that exercise at all. And I think if you do it for too much, I think you're going to have some elbow issues. So I try to avoid exercises where the torque on the elbow becomes a situation where you start to really feel it, especially if you're doing a lot of weight, you know.
What are your thoughts on sprints, burpees, pull-ups?
Yeah, no, I'm a big. It's so funny you mentioned sprints. You know, I was a Division I track athlete at Fullerton, so that was a big part of my life, and I love sprints. I think sprints is one of the best leg workouts you could do. It's a full body workout too. It's anaerobic, so yeah, burpees is no joke. I can't stand them, but man, that will get you in shape. That will raise your arm. You get done with a burpee, your heart rate's like in the 150s, maybe sometimes 160s.
True.
You know, so sprints and burpees definitely for sure. Actually, it's so funny. I love doing cardio. I love cardiovascular. I love pushing the heart. It's very important for me. Of course, I like lifting weights like anyone else, but I'd probably promote my cardiovascular workouts more than my weight training, because I want to encourage people to make sure that cardio is a regular staple in their lifestyle. So I will like promote and brag, hey, my resting heart rate is 41. I really enjoy pushing my heart to its max, running 3 to 4 miles and just pushing myself. And, I'll maybe go for like a 3-mile run on the track and then do sprints afterwards, So yes, cardiovascular is important to maintain a healthy heart. So
your resting heart rate's 41.
That's been the lowest. Yes, about 41.
Pretty good. Yeah, mine's around 43, 44.
Yeah, that means you got an efficient heart. It means you're in great cardiovascular shape.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But what's funny is that most people will go to their doctor's appointment. If their doctor sees that, they're like, there's something wrong here.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, well, what's going on,
Right. But if you're active, this is a good thing.
Yeah, if you're active and you're, and you really push your heart, it's, like I think Usain Bolt was like in the 30s or something like that. It was, if you're a world-class track athlete or endurance runner, they're like in the 20s or 30s. They're on a completely different level, but I do enjoy the aspect of really pushing the heart. I mean, it's good to be strong, but it's also important to have endurance as well too. And so what I see in the gym, a lot of guys, people that can lift a lot, but they don't really do any cardio. So they have no endurance. They just, if they're going up a flight of stairs with some groceries, they're huffing and puffing, So I really believe in building a functional body.
Me too. So with cardio and strength training, we want to do it all. Is there a certain way? Do you prefer to do cardio before strength training or after, or to separate those?
Sure, that's a great question. I actually written articles about that. I think that from an energy efficiency perspective, I think it's better to do cardio after your weight training, not before. I think if you do,
that's what I usually do.
Yeah, if you do cardio before your weight training, it zaps your energy. I've done it. I've tried it. I've been the guinea pig experiment. Let me try this out. And once in a while, I'll try it out just to push myself, and it just doesn't work. I remember once in a while, like maybe once a month or whatever, I might Saturday morning, I'll do like a 2-mile run as a warm up, and then I'll do like maybe 10 to 1,200 meter sprints, and then I'll get back home and take a shower, clean up, eat something real quick, wait another hour. So maybe there might be a 2-hour increment, and then I'll go weight train. And I have found that my strength levels are there. They don't go. My energy's still okay, but I'm not quite like I would be if I had maybe flipped it and did cardio first. Did weight training first and cardio second. So what I'd always advise to clients and anybody is to do your cardio after your weight training. But if you are going to do it on the same day and you're going to do cardio first and weight training second, then maybe give yourself a couple hours to recover from the cardio. Maybe get yourself some food, rest a little bit, a couple hours, and then go back and do weight training, and you won't be as bad.
Good tip. Are you doing your workouts in a fasted state, fed state? You mix it up? Like, what do you prefer to do? And then what about supplementation?
That's a great question. I just wrote an article about that.
Perfect.
About fasted cardio. And so I used to believe that, you can actually drop body fat doing fasted cardio, but all the studies I've shown versus fasted cardio and non-fasted cardio in terms of body fat loss, most of the studies I've seen, there hasn't been a significant difference between the two. So that's what's kind of fascinating. I've seen people, I'm getting ready for a show, I'm doing fasted cardio, and they really believe that, they're going to get that last bit of body fat, but the data shows that there's really not much of a difference, So with that being said, if I do cardio early in the morning time, what I would have minimally is at least a protein shake in my system. at least a protein shake in my system, and that can sustain me. But typically, I think it is better before, if you're going to do a long cardiovascular run, or it's going to take you 30 or 40 minutes to do any type of cardio, it's going to take a lot out of you. I do think it's important to have to eat a meal, a carbohydrate meal, that's going to help to give you the fuel to be able to execute that workout effectively.
Do you feel the same way if it's a strength training workout?
If I do weight training fasted, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
I feel like with strength training, when I have strength training and I haven't eaten a meal, I have felt that it has affected my energy levels. Yes.
When you skipped a meal and strength training?
Yeah, when I didn't eat any, let's just say that I'm just on empty. I haven't eaten anything yet, right? And I worked out, I lifted weights in the morning. I didn't feel as strong and as energetic. I've been able to do it, but I didn't feel like I'm not a big advocate of that. I do think that if I want to optimize my workout, so I don't want to feel lackadaisical. One of the things that I actually do, this is actually a tip that I do that is very, very helpful, is that if I am haven't eaten much before lifting weights and I'm kind of lackadaisical, what I actually do is I'll actually bring my coffee and I'll sip on the coffee while I'm working out, and that caffeine really helps to spike up my energy levels.
Yeah, it's the best pre-workout for me too.
Thank you. You nailed it, Ben. I always tell people he's drinking his coffee. It's the best pre-workout, baby. You know what I mean?
It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
I put creatine in mine too.
You okay? See, smart man.
What about supplements? What do you do?
My supplements are minimal. I take a whey protein, and then I'll take some creatine, and that's it.
So creatine, you're a fan of?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think creatine is the best dietary supplement when it comes to building muscle. Without doubt, building muscle
for men and women,
because it's activating your ATP, and unfortunately we don't eat enough meat, enough red meat, to be able to get enough creatine in our body. So yes, I'm a big advocate of creatine, without a doubt. When I take my protein shake, I put my creatine in my protein shake, shake it up, boom.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of creatine as well, men and women. I aim to get about 7 to 10 grams per day of creatine spread out, and then most of my female clients, we aim for them to get 3 to 5 grams spread out as well. With the conversation about fasted cardio or fasted training versus a fed state, there are a lot of mixed studies out there, to your point. I can speak from my personal experience and some of the people I've worked with. I think it depends on how, of course, metabolically flexible you are. Obviously, if somebody is not metabolically flexible and they try to exercise in a fasted state, they're going to feel hypoglycemic. But let's throw that person out of the conversation here and say somebody is metabolically healthy. It would make sense to me, not looking at studies, just from just thinking about how the body works, that if you had a protein shake or a banana or oatmeal, whatever it is, those calories before a meal, and then you go and train, your metabolism would use the food energy to be used as fuel first before it goes into body fat, right? That would make sense. Versus if you went into it without eating that, now your body fat is kind of at the front of this metabolic bus.
Right. Agreed.
But you're saying studies are not really showing that.
Well, so this is what I've seen. I've seen both studies. I've seen some studies. There's been some studies, small studies that I've seen that has shown that where people have lost body fat. But I've seen as far as if you count the number, I've seen more studies that have shown there hasn't been a significant difference. There have been a couple of studies that have shown a loss of body fat, but it wasn't that significant, is what I'm trying to say. So they're mixed, but I've seen more studies that have shown not a significant difference. Almost there's no significant difference, versus some of the small studies that have shown some body fat loss doing fasted, but there wasn't that there were more studies showing that there wasn't a significant difference versus studies that showed there was a significant difference. So, what's interesting about studies is that for the everyday average person, it can be very confusing. For yourself and me, we look at it, we have the information in front of us, and then we use our own deductive reasoning to say what actually works and what actually doesn't. So this is my thing. I always just tell people, look, you do whatever works for you, whatever you think, because someone might have clients that they've done fasted cardio and they've probably lost body fat, and so they have that type of evidential data in regarding them, in regarding their clients and stuff like that. So who am I to say? But I'm just going off of the studies that I've seen, the PubMed studies that I've seen. So I would just say, you do what you think works for you. And as long as you're not passing out or feeling wobbly or whatever, or it's affecting your workouts or whatever, then hey, go ahead and do it. And if you're getting results, hey, you know what I mean? You're getting results.
Yeah, well said, Obi. That's really good advice, because you're right. A study could show something, but it might not even apply to you.
Yeah, it may not apply, I mean, and like I said, I have seen some studies that have shown that people have lost it. I just haven't seen, the only thing that I haven't seen anything that's shown where the difference was significant. That was what I was I wanted to see what was this, was there a significant difference versus, fasted versus non-fasted. And I just hadn't seen anything that was so significant that would make me want to go that route and make me want to push myself and work out like that. Because it's not easy to work out fasted, especially if you do cardio like me or maybe like yourself. You're like, oh my God, give me a meal, give me something. I'm going to eat my hand,
Yeah, in the beginning, it definitely is not fun as well. But for me personally, I enjoy fasted workouts, fasted cardio.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love it. Like every Sunday, I'll play basketball for 2 or 3 hours here in Miami, outdoors, right? Super hot. And I do it fasted, right?
Oh my God. But bro, after you're done, you must be so hungry, bro. Oh,
I'm very metabolically flexible.
Oh
so
my God. Well, you know what? You're an outlier, my friend. You are, because there are a lot of people that aren't,
I agree. Yeah.
And like playing basketball for 2 hours and not eating anything. That reminds me when I was a kid. I love basketball, by the way. I'm a big basketball fan, and basketball was a huge part of my life. I played pickup games, all the time. So back in the day, and I haven't played in a while, but no, I mean, that's amazing. I'm amazed that you're able to play for 2 hours on, and that's amazing. Really.
Thank you. Yeah, and I've done a lot of work on the metabolism. You're right. I am the exception here. Strength training as well. The majority of my strength training workouts are usually in the morning, 10 or 11 a.m., and I'm usually fasted. I do have the coffee like you and the creatine, but I would break the fast right after I have the workout. I just feel better when I train fasted. I feel like I'm using blood flow to pick up the dumbbells or do the spread versus digestion. I just personally feel better.
So like when you're doing it, you're not hungry at all, or maybe your body's just gotten used to it. Here's
why.
Adapt.
I'm not hungry because my body's producing ketones.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's
me,
why.
Right? And I'm not saying we should be in ketosis forever. That's not what I teach. But when I fast, I get into ketosis, and those ketones are very satiating for me.
Yeah. No, I find it. I think it's fascinating. And you're literally a walking case study, and I'm sure you've had other case studies like that have done the same. So the fact that it works for you, and your body has gotten used to that feeling is amazing. I think it would take time for me to get it's not the fact that I don't think I could do it. I think I could, but I think it would take time for my body to get adapted to that.
But to your point, just because it works for me doesn't mean it works for like Sally listening or Henry listening. It is a stress to fast, and then to work out is a stress, and then imagine a fasted workout. Like That's a lot of stress. My body could adapt to it because I do a great job recovering, looking at my sleep, my REM, my deep, etc. But somebody who's really stressed out and they try to do that, to your point, they're going to feel awful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't. I remember, I think Steve Harvey. Remember, he was on something like that, an extreme keto diet, and he was on a keto. He wasn't working with me. He was working with some other nutritionist or whatever. And this is when he was doing 4 or 5 TV shows, and it was affecting him performing because of how many hours he worked and how he always had to be on. So I don't know if when he shared that with me, I said, I don't know if you're the best candidate for that, because you have to always be on, your energy, standing and speaking and performing, and he was always one. He always had to sit down. He just felt really weak, anyway,
Yeah, a perfect example. It's a lot of stress for the body to adapt to. What are some of your favorite ways, Obi, to gauge, measure if we're adapting to the workout? Let me ask you this before you get to that, actually. Are we getting stronger in the gym when we work out, or are we getting stronger when we recover and adapt to that workout?
Ask that question again, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so where does the magic happen in terms of, are we getting stronger when we're working out, or does the strength and the benefits come from the recovery and adaptation from that workout?
I think it's both. I think it's both.
So if you're not getting the recovery, you're not really.
Yeah, you're not, because think about this, right? I'm going to pose something to you. So let's say you worked out for an hour and a half, your chest, your buys. I mean, you just freaking killed it, right? And you're sore, right? You've torn down your muscles. And then 2 days later, you do the same freaking workout. But now you're not as strong as you were 2 days ago because you just torn down your muscles, and those muscles are still recovering. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's counterproductive. You've torn down your muscles. The chest and the buys probably need probably at least 3 days to recover from its workout. But you decided, I love chest and buys. I want to do it, not the following day, but the day afterwards. I only had a 1 day recovery. But you're not able to lift the same. You're not able to lift the same weight because it's not fully recovered. So I believe that the aspect of building, tearing down your muscles and recovering, they're both equally important to be able to maintain your muscle mass and your strength levels. And they're both equally important, the building and the recovery. And I wish that I had that knowledge when I was in my 20s. I didn't understand that because I worked out, but I didn't understand the scientific aspect of exercise and how it works, and the recovery, the muscle recovery aspect when you're tearing down your muscles. And I felt it. I've done it. We've all done case studies on ourselves. Let me just try this out. That doesn't work. Let me try this out. That doesn't work. Let me give 3 extra days or 4 extra days before I do another same body part. Oh, wow, that worked. I feel good. I could still do the same workout, I could still lift the same that I did, 3-4 days ago. Sometimes even taking an extra 5-6 days before you do that same body part, you're able to lift more because you're fully recovered. So yeah, recovery, they're both equally important.
I agree. So what are your favorite ways to know if you're recovered or not? I know you just explained you pay attention to your body, the soreness, etc. But are you using any other metrics to gauge that? To me, in my opinion, is listening to my body. If my body is extremely, like, for example, let's say I do legs on Tuesday and on Thursday they're still sore, I probably need an extra 2 more days to recover. So I really look at the soreness. So meaning you would probably work out, but you wouldn't work that body part. You would work a different body part.
I would work a different body part, yeah. So the soreness of that specific body part that I worked out, the soreness, I'm not saying it has to completely go away, but it has to be a significant decrease. You know, I feel like if you end up lifting, let's say, for example, you did legs on Tuesday, at least for me, if I do legs on Tuesday and then I do legs again maybe on Friday, but my legs are they're still sore. They have not, the soreness hasn't gone down. I know I'm not going to have a good workout. I already know that, you know, because when I'm lifting, my soreness is really affecting my ability to lift the same amount of weight I did before. So listening to your body, to me, is like your body is it's amazing. It gives you signals, you know. This is what the signals are. You have to listen to it. You can't ignore it, you know. And the person that is this, you know, that thinks that they're like, you know, they can just, I think sometimes when you're a hardcore person and you just train, you could be your own worst enemy. You know, like so I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. Okay, I love Kobe.
Same.
And it affected me when he died. Kobe was probably the hardest worker maybe ever in NBA history. His work ethic was ridiculous, but he was also his own worst enemy. I remember seeing an interview and talking about, I train early at 3 a.m, and then I come back again at 10 o'clock, and then I come back again at 6. I'm like, when the hell is he recovering? When's he recovering? And it allowed him, his work ethic allowed him to be one of the greatest basketball players ever. It wasn't like he had the highest vert. His work ethic was ridiculous. But I believe that when he blew his Achilles, he was 34 years old, playing 38, 39 minutes because he was trying to drag that team to the freaking playoffs. And he didn't have a coach that he didn't have a coach that would say, Kobe, no, you can't play this amount of minutes. It's too much. If it was Phil Jackson or anyone he respected, besides Mike D'Antoni, he would have listened to him. And he blew his Achilles. And I really believe he blew his Achilles because he was overworking his body. It was too much. Everyone knew it, like, oh my God, this is insane. He was playing his best basketball of his career, but it was too much, you know? And so what I'm trying to say is that, like, a guy like Kobe who overtrained, I felt he overtrained. I think that it allowed him to be one of the best basketball players ever. But in my opinion, from the interviews I've heard and all the workouts he's done and what I would hear, how often he would work out, I felt I'd never, ever heard him say recovery. I never, ever heard that. Well, I need to give my body time to recover. And so I think he was his own worst enemy. It allowed.
How would you compare Kobe to LeBron in terms of that recovery aspect?
Well, LeBron understands that recovery aspect. Right. I'm not saying LeBron doesn't have a crazy work ethic, but I think that he probably understands the recovery aspect better than Kobe. And I think that's probably why he's able to play as long as he's been able to play at still a high level.
Yeah, he has a trainer dedicated to recovery.
If Kobe, in my opinion, this is my opinion, if he had understood that recovery aspect, I truly believe that he could have played at where LeBron is right now in his 21st season or whatever. I believe that Kobe could have still put up high numbers. Because at 34, in his 17th season, he was averaging 27 points a game. I think his field goal percentage was 46. It was his best field goal of his career. He was playing at a high level, you know? But, it's like, dude, the human body can only take so much.
Yeah. Yeah, a gift and a curse for sure. Okay, we have 2 final questions for you. First question is, what's your most embarrassing moment on TV? You've been on a lot of TV shows. Any embarrassing moment come to mind?
I don't know about any embarrassing moment.
Funny moment, memorable moment.
Well, I think there was a memorable moment when I was on the Wendy Williams TV show, and I was promoting my book with Morris Chestnut, and I was talking to Wendy, and I watched the clip, and it still makes me laugh. And I'm like, Wendy, I'm like, ladies, if y'all want to have a nice booty, you want to have a nice butt that pokes out, you got to lift some weights, ladies. You're not going to get bulky. You're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You want a nice booty. So I'm saying that, right? And Wendy's got this look on her face like I'm talking about her, She's like, She has this look like she thinks I'm talking about her. And it's so funny because I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to be charismatic but still injecting education and, and saying, ladies, you got to lift some weights if you want to have that nice curves and booty or whatever. And she had that look like I was talking about her. I wasn't talking about her, but if the shoe fits, no I'm kidding.
Oh, that's great.
It was. I have to send you the clip, man. Every time I watch it, I laugh at it. And that clip, that being on that show, got me on the Today Show. The executive producer saw me on that. She's like, I want that guy on my show. And
well done.
And I ended up doing a 2-month weight loss series on the Today Show. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Before I ask the last question, share with my audience where they could follow you, read some of those articles you're writing, your website, social media.
We create at Ethical. I have a supplement company called Ethical Inc., and we create about 25 health and wellness articles every month on our platform, and we push it out, 3 to 4 days a week on the Ethical Inc. platform. We've got some great products. We have an appetite suppressant the weight loss appetite suppressant that we give a free 21 and 30-day weight loss ebook for anyone that purchases any of our appetite suppressant, multivitamins, post-workout, etc. So you go to ethicallink.com and try our products out. Like I own a supplement company, but I would be doing a disservice if I just offered supplements without giving you guidance and education. So that's why we offer these free weight loss ebooks for anyone that purchases any of our products. So if anyone has any interest, go to ethicallink.com, or if you want to communicate with me and you have any questions, health and wellness questions, go to obiobadike.com, or just go on my social media pages, Obi Obadike, and I'm always posting content, regularly, because it's really what I enjoy doing.
Awesome. We'll have Rachel, our show notes person, will put that down below. So if you're watching or listening, check out the notes for all those resources. Hey, Keto Camper, I want to interrupt the video real quick to share with you what I believe is one of the most important nutrients that we should be taking every single day. Most people are deficient in this nutrient, and it's responsible for over 400 enzymatic activities in your body. And your body just doesn't make it. So it's required to be taken in a high-quality supplement or from high-quality foods. The problem with the food is that our soil is depleted, and it's hard to get this quality nutrient. So what is this nutrient? It's called magnesium. But I'm going to share something with you very fascinating. Check this out. Upgraded Formulas has this incredible product called Upgraded Magnesium. And Barton Scott, the developer of this product and company, he's a brilliant guy. He created nanoparticle magnesium, which has the ability to penetrate your membranes and go right into your cells. There's a 99.99% absorption rate. Now, this is unheard of because with other magnesium products, you better believe it's not that high. And there's an interesting study they're doing with Upgraded Mag I want to share with you real quick. Early results from a sleep study with Dr. Sachin Patel showed that the average doctor in the group using this product has achieved an improvement of over 35% in deep sleep. More sleep studies than a double-blind controlled placebo study with upgraded magnesium is coming soon, and you better believe those results are going to be super exciting. We already know this. Upgraded magnesium is easily the best supplement you can take for better sleep, including deep sleep, muscle aches, cramping, and any other signs of a magnesium deficiency, which is so common, unfortunately. What makes Upgraded Formulas unique, as I mentioned, is that it's a nanoparticle. This means it is absorbed very rapidly and efficiently by your blood cells. They produce a plasma-like version of minerals that the body recognizes and absorbs without digestion. And the results are phenomenal. I really believe just taking this for a couple of nights, you'll notice a big difference. So if you want to get Upgraded Formulas, Upgraded Mag, and any of their products, they also do some incredible hair mineral analysis tests to see your mineral imbalances and deficiencies, etc., and other incredible products that we've referenced before. Head over to upgradedformulas.com and use the coupon code KETOSIS to get 15% off your entire order. That is upgradedformulas.com. Coupon code is KETOSIS to get 15% off your entire order. I'm going to drop a link for you down below in the notes of this video. Okay, let's go back to this video. Obi, final question. I talk a lot about this I call it a supplement, and it's called vitamin G, and it lowers inflammation, helps with strength training, helps with ATP, as you mentioned. And it's called vitamin G because it's vitamin gratitude, the practice of gratitude, the benefits that you get by feeling grateful. So I want to ask you, what are you grateful for right now?
I'm grateful for my health, and I'm not from an aesthetic perspective, from a perspective that I'm healthy. I'm not in the ICU. I don't have any liver issues. I don't have any kidney issues. I think we take for granted our health so much. I know I do. So I'm so grateful that I'm healthy and I can walk and I can sleep and I can move. So what I would just tell your audience is please don't take for granted for your health, because as healthy as you are, there's someone in the ICU that is fighting for their life. So just please just understand how blessed you are, that you're healthy, your organs are functioning well, your heart is functioning well. And I really try to remind myself every day of that. It's just to be grateful that I'm healthy, because without your health, you have nothing. I don't care how much money you have. So just understand that money can always be made, but when your health is deteriorated, it's you don't even want to live. So just that's why it's so important to exercise and try to eat right, so we can reduce the risk of any of these chronic health diseases that tend to seem to creep up as we get older.
Well said, bro. 100%. Health is really wealth. I always say if you treat your health casually, you will end up a casualty. You don't want to do that. Obi, thank you for your brilliance and your attitude and enthusiasm and zest for educating us about health and fitness and all that fun stuff we chatted about today. We'll put all of your resources down below. And I'm grateful for you, dude.
Me on, and God bless all that you're doing, man. And I'm already a fan of you. I think you're a great interview. You got a great podcast. I'll always support what you're doing. We're all in the same industry to try to make the industry a better place. So I appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about myself with the audience. I hope the audience is able to benefit from any information that I've given. And when the show is, just send me the link and I'll push it out and promote it on all of my pages. So thank you so much, Ben, for everything. And I look forward to communicating with you on another level. Maybe when I get out to Florida, I'll catch you out and
come to Florida, play some basketball with
me. Some ball. Now you got me go playing some ball now, right? So, by the way, I'm sure you know Stephen A. Smith, so he's a client of mine. So.
Oh, yes.
I could share some stories about that guy, but another time, another place.
We'll do it on the basketball court. We'll share that with you.
Yeah, exactly.